Greetings, everybody. Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to Project Zomboid episode 70, which originally aired live on Twitch. I did scream, and there was no response. So either the zombies are like IQ 5000, or there simply just isn't, and it was just a one zombie that did a whole lot of destruction, which I'm more inclined to believe now, having swept the entire bottom floor. Yeah, maybe they jumped out. All I know is, like, I don't know where they are, and I don't have any reason to believe that they exist. Did I use splints? Yeah, I have my health tab right here. As you can see, I'm splinted currently. And I've used comfrey poultices as well. Or comfrey, rather, poultices as well. So I have I've been pretty well fed for the duration of my fracture as well. So I've given myself almost every single advantage as to heal quickly. It's a femur fracture. It's the strongest and worst bone in your body, I would say, to break. Well, other than your spinal column. I would rather not break my skull or spinal column, but of the bones in your body, your femur is the hardest to break, and when it breaks, it sucks, because it is your everything bone. Without your femur, you're pretty screwed. How did it get hurt? I got hurt jumping out of a window of a burning building. My hand that I smashed through a window healed in like a day. Yeah, that was a quick heal. But this femur injury is actually on the mend because my pain level is a lot lower. I've been able to sleep without painkillers, and the pain level is only minor. So I'm not in that much pain, which is an indicator that I am on the up and up. I am healing. That is a very strange name for some of those recent recent followers. We've got Killer Kernow, Fractal Headache, Ghetto Dr. Seuss, and Beast Mode Thor. I like it. Those are some awesome names. Here I am with some esoteric garbage name that I've stuck with. How'd the fire start? I don't even want to tell you. You need to watch the clip. There's a clip from, like, words won't do it justice how I started that fire. Oh man, maybe someone can link the clip, because if I told you how it started, you would not believe me. It was a thing of beauty. Yeah, maybe someone has the clip. The TLDR, if you must know in words, is I set it on fire, but that doesn't do it justice. It's not a good idea for me to tab out, but I'm going to try to tab out real quick. And I'll rummage for it, because it's worth me linking. So I think this is one of the clips there. Maybe. I don't want to watch it right now and have it loop over. That might not be the one that I'll want to find, though. But hopefully someone can rummage around for it. Oh, is that the truck? Just pause the game. No, I roll dangerously. Even when I'm tabbed out, I have a second screen that I can see myself on. So I think I'm done removing all the corpses that I put down in this area. I still need to barricade it all up, but I do have a hand axe in this truck here that I can use pretty quick. Not quite the same clip. Was that the one where I ran in and ran out and, like, nearly pooed myself? Nearly browned my pants? Was that clip? Because that was basically the same event. It was all one crazy event. Nice base. Thank you. I like this. Oh, that was the bridge flip. Oh, that's too bad. That's not the clip. Then. That is definitively not the clip I meant to link, but the other one should be from last Sunday. It would be one of those clips. Alright, let's barricade this bad boy back up. If there's a zombie in there, it will make noise. I never really spend significant time on the first floor of my base. So even if there is a... Yeah, it's the wave clip I wanted to find. That is the one. So if there is a zombie down there, they'll bump about and I'll hear them. So I'm not that worried. It's waiting around the corner? It could be. I wouldn't doubt it, given my luck. I've had all of my... Of my injuries that I've sustained that have been fatal, because I've had 2 or 3 or whatever, one of the ones was like a lurking zombie right around the corner. There we go. That looks to be the right clip. That is basically how the mall caught fire. I have no regrets. Did my dude seriously just do all that sawing and not pick up a single plank? Answer is yes. Alright, I need 8 planks. Hey, Delara. Welcome to the stream. You love that moment? Yeah, that was definitely one of the riskier things I've done in Zomboid ever. And it was about the most foolish thing I could have done, but I regret nothing. The TLDR is I set up a fire trap where I surrounded a sirened vehicle with campfires and lured probably about 1,000 zombies out of the mall to go burn and die. But then what ended up happening was the mall has like security shutters, and the security shutters blocked maybe a few hundred zombies from being able to get outside of the mall. So what I ended up doing is I used some flaming zombies and I entered the mall through one of the double doors, and the moment I entered the vicinity, 100 zombies, like, immediately snap flood attacked me. And then I sprinted out the other door. I mixed basically both groups of zombies, setting them all on fire, turning what was probably 150, 200, maybe 300 zombies that were sitting at the entrance of the mall on fire, setting the entire mall on fire, and setting all of those zombies on fire. That's not what broke my leg. What broke my leg was then I started to scour the mall for hardware, specifically for a sledgehammer, because I was only really going to the mall hoping to find a sledgehammer as a latch-ditch effort because of the amount of... It honestly, it took me like 10 hours to prepare all the fires and everything to get that mall fire going. I searched all the hardware stores in the mall. I'm basically panicked because everywhere I search basically does not have sledgehammers. Like, just, I couldn't find them. They were nowhere to be found. And it got really late, it got really dark, and I couldn't see where I was going. And I got sort of stranded / stuck on the 3rd floor of the mall. It was pitch black and I didn't know where to go, and I was getting tired and hungry and all that. And I decided that jumping out of a third-story window to get close to the exit was my best option, given that everything was on fire and I was getting swarmed. Not really swarmed, but like there was a lot of zombies around me. So I jumped out of the window, broke my leg, and hobbled home. Pretty miraculously that I even made it home. So I regret nothing of it. It was amusing, it was hilarious, it was daring, it was crazy, but it also broke my femur. Pretty good. Pretty good break. But worth it. 100% worth it. Alright, just putting stuff away now. And then what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to grab some gas cans, hotwire some cars, and start barricading. So let me update the current project. I spelled that incorrectly on purpose. We're going to Carricade, not barricade. Carricade the base. So use cars to barricade the base. I think it's honestly more than likely that I'm just going to happen upon a you know, it's more than likely that I'm going to happen upon a random sledgehammer at some point if this series goes on long enough, because they're honestly not that rare of a thing to find. They're relatively common in this game. Unlike a katana, for instance. You could easily play hundreds of hours of Project Zomboid and never find a katana if you never search the right locations. Right? Like some of... I remember... Maybe it was on the Project Zomboid forums or the subreddit, where someone mentioned that they had, maybe actually it was in the YouTube comments. It was one of my YouTube videos where they mentioned that they found a katana, but they thought it was part of the game's mod because it was so strong that they just deleted the save, thinking that they had like added a mod that was imbalanced. And then they realized that that lo and behold, katanas are actually, ooh, rain! It's gonna rain! Nice. I mean, unfortunately, I have a broken femur, and I'm not about to go through the mall with a broken femur. But hey, at least it's gonna rain. So they then deleted their save, thinking that they had, like, added in something imbalanced, only to realize that... Gunfire! Only to realize that, yeah, the katanas are legit. They're just super, super, super rare. Yeah, that gunfire was really loud. That must have been centered, like, on my base here. The ambient noise. And for the purpose of anyone that doesn't know what that was, the way that Project Zomboid shuffles zombies around the map is it will trigger just ambient noise. There wasn't actually, like, a person that shot a gun out there. It's just a sound effect. But that sound effect serves the purpose of moving zombies around to make it so that areas that you've cleared out, like, here's a perfect example. This zombie got shuffled towards me. To make it so that areas that you've previously cleared out are no longer necessarily safe. Because the zombies will be attracted to the noise and get shuffled. So if you hear, like, gunshots to your east, zombies west of you will be traveling towards you, in other words. Like, that's kind of how that works. Alright, so let's go ahead and... It's 2 p.m. There's time. I'm going to go get some gas cans so I can hijack and fuel up cars for heisting. I actually could just tow them here, but... Yeah, why don't I just tow them? Yeah, I'm just tow them. Who needs to drive junkers? I'll just tow them over with this. So if this is my everyday driver, I'm going to want to treat this car nicely. So I'm going to tow with my cab, which is a little bit more beat up. Yeah. Why not? But what I will do is I will get my towing materials from the trunk. This stuff. Because if the tires are falling off or whatever, I'm not going to be able to, like, tow it very easily. Remember to use the pipe iron or some other... Yeah, I'll use something. I'm not going to just punch windows like an idiot continually. I don't treat cars well, no. To be fair, that fossil oil vehicle that flipped was not my fault. Is towing vanilla? Yes. Towing is 100% vanilla. And it's really easy to do. I'll show you. I will demo it now. You put two cars together like this, leaving a foot or two. You walk up to it, you hit V, and then you hit attach the Chevalier Dart to the taxi. You can only tow up to one car, you can't tow multiples. You'll see it kind of like instantly register that you're towing something, as you saw that there. And now you just tow it. That's it. That's all it requires. Easy peasy with many lemons to squeezy. Now, it will help for me to, where I want... This car is relatively small, so I'm going to put this one here. Oh. This is another little Reliant Robin-styled vehicle, the Dart. You know, it's going to be easier if I drive it into the spot. Hi, Nova. Welcome from YouTube. So this is just missing one tire? Cool. That's fine. Can you drive it missing a tire? Yes. When you're missing two tires, not so much. But one tire is fine. It's not great. It's hard to turn, depending on which tire it is, but it's fine. Alright, let's get some gas. Honestly, the vehicle is only being moved once into position, but it's going to be really hard for me to tow it into the correct position, so I'm just going to drive it. And I'm using this taxi because we've decided that that bull driver pickup truck is going to be my everyday driver. I'm sorry, I meant to do this. And which means if this taxi gets a little banged up, it's no big deal. Hey, Crisco, thanks for the sub. Crisco Inferno. All right, doesn't even need a full tank. I'm just gonna fuel it up a little bit. And let's hotwire it. Oh dear Lord. Oh my God. This does not drive easy. Okay, so it's in position. I'm gonna use the taxi cab to sort of shove it into the wall, so it's definitely up against the wall and nothing can get between it and the wall. Yeah, it's missing a wheel, but it doesn't need it. And the TLDR is I broke my leg in a very epic way that I don't regret whatsoever. I've explained this story a few times now, but yeah. All right, there we go. So we have two. And let's go back for another. So the purpose of this is a vehicle that is parked right up against windows will stop those windows from being able to be bashed by zombies. That is the TLDR of the purpose of this towing. Come on. Chevalier Nyla. Alright. Show me your mechanics. I just want to make sure that it has tires, because there's a bunch of tires here. It is missing, unfortunately, way too much stuff to ever be able to move on its own. I might not even be able to tow it, because it doesn't have any front anything. It is basically a trike. Oh, no, it can move. So this one, I might have to shove into position, which is going to do some damage. But I want it to... It's a long vehicle, so it'd be good for the front door here. Nothing reads, here lives a hoarder, like a bunch of broken down cars. I don't know. That's not even hoarding. There's a lot of houses near where I live that look like... Oh, I got that wrong. Look, you know, there's like 6 different cars or 10 different cars in their yard in various degrees of broken. That's not bad. That was not bad. It's a southern thing? Yeah, it's a southern thing. For sure. I think mostly because, like, in the Northeast, let's say, people don't have giant yards. You know, if you live in, like, you know, most houses in the North aren't... You have less land because it's smaller states and all that. So you can't get, like, 10 cars in a yard in New England. That's just not... Your yards aren't going to be big enough. Although Maine is a surprisingly southern state for being so northerly. In Maine, there's definitely... It would mostly be snowmobiles and ATVs, but there's definitely the a wide variety of random recreational vehicles that are like in various degrees of being dead in the yard ethos. Yeah, talk to New Hampshire and Maine. Yeah, I corrected myself, having lived in both of those states. Maine and New Hampshire is a little bit different than the southern New England states. Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and most of Vermont, you would not have that. All right, I'm just making sure it covers all 4 doors. And what I'll probably end up doing here is having a different poll submission for... We're going to vote on what I do tomorrow? Because how many days have I worked on this? Just the one? Lived in Maine for over a decade. Can't confirm had an RV rotting in your yard. Yeah. I lived in Maine for over a decade, and it was a very common sight to see derelict cars sitting around. And in the Northeast... due to all its freeze-thaw cycles, if a car sits for a year, a car is dead for life, is the simplest way to put it. Because if it sits for a year, it is rotted out completely. Your car's not going to be usable, like, very, very, very quickly. Whereas if you have a car in, like, Nevada or Arizona, where, like, it gets a little dusty, no problem. If you have a car in Maine... It gets a little covered in icy slush and becomes unusable within a year or less. Very, very, very different climates. Treats their car very, very, very differently. You know, here's a life pro tip. If you're looking for a used car, buy a used car that has never known snow. Because snow destroys vehicles like you would not believe. Yeah, Glitch and I live in the same state. We both are in North Carolina. So these 2 zombies were actually pretty close to my my trap boxes, my trapping box. I don't like that. That doesn't not make me feel comfortable. Yeah, snow doesn't, but salt. It's really the salt. The salted roads destroy vehicles. That's true. It doesn't help when snow and ice freeze to the undercarriage of your car, though. That wreaks some havoc. But you're right, it's mostly the corrosive salt. Oh, there's another one. I was gonna use this dead van to do some barricading too. Yeah, Hawaii is brutal to cars because of all this ocean salt. Really, anything metal near the ocean is going to be destroyed. Like I remember, it was something on Reddit about They're not close enough. It was something on Reddit about, like, odd things about living near an ocean, and one of them was, that, hinges and things like that, if you live on the ocean, like oceanside property, door hinges and handles and everything that faces everything that has to deal with ocean water gets trashed. Like, you have to replace it constantly, which is a concept that is foreign to me because I've never lived on the ocean. How many game days has it been since I broke my leg? I don't know exactly. This van's not going anywhere. It's stuck. Maybe a week or so. I'm just gonna leave the van there. I don't really care. There's other vehicles. But I think I'm gonna spend the remainder of today happily reading. And then letting you all vote on the next task. So let me put that up. Here. So vote there. After this poll that's up, I'm gonna have you all able to submit one more list of things for us to vote on before the stream ends. But I think I need to run to the little boy's room in a second. Oh, we have seed-bearing vegetables, though. That's good. Where's my book? Here it is. All right, Yoda, you're on. Keep him company. I'll be back in just a second. I know, I've ruined Yoda time. He's such a good attendant when I am away. I'll leave him on. You guys deserve him. Oh, I have the trowel on me, don't I? Nope. Alright, let me put the tire pump, jack, the gas can, and the lug wrench away. Where'd I put the trowel? Man, I'm really bad at keeping track of my stuff. Oh no, here it is. Some extra ears are poking. It was Tusky ear. Oh, no, other side. Tusky ears. Hi, sweetie. Have I ever had just a Yoda stream? No, but I was considering, now that I am fully vaccinated, to try to figure out like a GoPro type setting where I take dogs for a hike or something like that. And, because they're fun to watch. They like to play. How was my second shot? I was fine. I had nothing. I wasn't even my arm wasn't even that sore. Like if you hadn't told me that I gotten a shot and I had just like woken up from a coma, I wouldn't know that I had been vaccinated at all. So that was welcome, because my mom didn't have much of a reaction, but my dad was definitely feeling it. He was laid up. He is a healthcare worker, so he was vaccinated early on, fortunately, but he was definitely not in a good way from his second shot. The first shot, he was fine. With that said, it is very, very, very important to get the second shot. A few crappy days is way better than death, from what I've been told. So, I know that there's a trend of people, and I'm not a doctor. Listen to your doctors first and foremost. I'm just a dude that plays video games. But if I could encourage anyone that got a first shot but don't want the side effects from the second one, get the second one. The shot isn't going to kill you. Not having the shot could. Or actually, well, you know, unless you're the very, very, very rare case of being a woman that got the J&J, but that is the exception, not the rule. Your vaccination date is 2022. Yeah, it's easy for me as an American to forget that the rest of the globe is their vaccination timing is so much later, and I feel for you guys. And I'm really hoping that that there is significant pressure for America to release, because at this point here in America, there was a lot of vaccine hesitation. So one of the honest worries is not getting to the herd immunity that we need. And I guess playing a zombie game kind of plays a role in this. But, you know, there's an honest worry of us really never getting the herd immunity that we need due to the hesitation that people have, which would suck, because there was a lot of effort put into, you know, stemming the tide or whatever. Ooh, I'm getting the hiccups here now, the game freezing hiccups. But that would be very disappointing to me if we don't get that herd immunity. But what I was going to say is I really hope that there's pressure to release doses that we aren't going to use. Like, so right now in America, we have about 60 million AstraZeneca vials or doses that are ready to be released if they get emergency use authorization. But AstraZeneca hasn't even put those doses in for emergency use authorization. So they haven't even created their own, you know, so to some degree or another, America is like vaccine hoarding. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I hope that instead of hoarding the vaccines because they're not useful later, if we get mutations that negate them, I hope that America feels pressure from the public and the global community to actually just release those doses for countries that want them, because at this point, the reason I got my vaccine so early is in the community that I live in, there was a under demand for them. That one of the community centers that I lived near that was being used to give out the vaccine had too few appointments. So I was supposed to be phase 3, right? Like I don't have a job that requires me to have a vaccine early. I'm not a healthcare worker. I don't have pre-existing health conditions that would make me eligible sooner or anything like that. But the community center near me just had more vaccines that were going to spoil. So they put out a message to the community, which was like, hey, you know, we have vaccines. We need people to get them, which is why I got vaccinated significantly earlier than I was even supposed to. It's not that I like cut the line or anything. It was just that the demand in my area for, vaguely rural North Carolina was low. So I guess I benefited. But I do realize that there's a lot of people, especially non-Americans out there, that just don't have access to it, and they probably won't, unfortunately, this year or longer, which is crazy to me. Mind-boggling. But I do hope that there's significant pressure on all the unvaccinated in America who are able to get vaccines, who aren't allergic to it or have some sort of a compromised immune system. Because I think, if you have a compromised immune system, some people with health conditions aren't able to even get them. And that's the most dangerous, is that when you have communal transmission of a disease that is deadly and a certain threshold of a certain portion of the population that can't actually benefit from a vaccine because they don't have a strong enough immune system to elicit immune response from a vaccine, they're at the most risk. But yeah. But another thing to say is, look online, check your local government, see if there's availability in your area. Don't cut the line, but if you're eligible, do it, because it's not just about your health; it's about the health of others. It's actually, I'll speak personally. I used to be sort of like, I don't need the flu shot, right? Because I was young, I was healthy. I was like, I'm, the flu shot, yeah, whatever. And then it occurred to me later on in life, when I got a little bit more mature and a little bit more responsible, that the flu shot's not for me. It's for the 70-year-old cashier that I might run into at CVS. It's for my grandma or grandpa It's for the person I sit next to on the bus. It's for someone that I might come in contact with, that I get them sick and they die. Because, you know, as a young person, you're not going to be taken out from the flu unless you have a significantly compromised immune system. It wasn't for me. You know, the flu isn't going to take me out. I'm healthy enough that that's not going to be the case for me, but I can't know if it wouldn't do harm to others, you know? Even if it's the flu and it's nothing to me, it could be terrible for someone else to run into. My wife has a 100-year-old grandmother. She is going to be 100 in October. So, yeah, like, you know, it would have been great to see, you know, that's been a trick is that her grandmother's 100 years old, and it's like, she wants to see her grandmother, but until she was fully vaccinated, it wasn't safe. It's like, grandma's gonna have to wait, because you're not gonna want to be the one to want to see grandma and get her, you know, killed from COVID. Because there was really no way to ever visit her, because she's out of state. You know, it would be we would have to come into contact with way too many X factors to be able to get to where grandma lives. It's scary, man. And what's happening to India right now is, oh man, just crazy. I got some rotted stuff in the fridge. That's good to know. I'll grab that in a sec. I'm just gonna do a quick reboot, even though I'm near the end of the stream. The game is straight up freezing on me constantly here. Yeah, Brazil looks like hell. A lot of governments that have this is a huge generalization, but a lot of governments that have like strongmen that are anti-science are countries that are not in any way doing well for COVID, unfortunately. And there's other countries that just like culturally is, you know, it's a problem. How big is the save file now? It is really no bigger than it has been for many streams now, because I haven't gone anywhere new. So I've been sitting about 30,000 files or so for I don't know, like a month now, because unless I travel somewhere novel and new and have to render a lot more new loot, my save game file is not really bloating, which is cool. But if I drove to like Baldrag, it would blow up or whatever. All right, let's sleep. And you all say for the last thing I do is to level up foraging. Cool. I can get behind that. All right. Let's remove bandage and just like stare at my fractured leg. I'm 100% sure it's fractured under here because I'm still in pain. Surprise, surprise, it's fractured. Cool. I don't know why I did that. Just to make sure it wasn't phantom pain in my head or something. I don't know. That's not really a thing, but I can pretend it was. How modded is this? 0. Not a single. If you do exclamation mark mods, it would tell you that. No mods. Let's grab this fresh stew. Fill my water bottle. If Reddit is a credible source, it takes 1 to 4 weeks for a fracture to heal. Yeah, I sort of knew that. All right, I'm gonna put my gas can, jack, and lug wrench in the trunk of wherever I go. Now let me put that in my bag for now. Did I build my own base? No, I almost never build my own bases. This base is just a base is just a factory that I took over, a warehouse that I took over. They were harvestable carrots, but they weren't seed bearing. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer. So I get seeds out of them. But yeah, you can see my rooftop farm. Come on. Stupid cat. I honestly should just commit to turning my my SUV into my daily driver already. But I'd rather just beat up this car and have one mint car, one beat car, than two sort of beat up cars. There's no hoarding. It's a simple factor of rich countries buying up supply before it's actually produced. Well, yeah, you order them. You order them through contracts. It's not even a evil thing to do. It's a total normal thing to do, right? Like if I wanted, you know, if I wanted lumber and it was on back order, I would put in an order for lumber. And then when there was lumber, I would get lumber before other people that ordered it. It's not a foreign concept. That's just basic capitalism. But why I mentioned the hoarding is not so much, I wouldn't call it hoarding, but it's more the fact that like America's sitting on 60 million vials of AstraZeneca, and at this point there's not a lot of demand for vaccine in America, which means that we could probably do without that AstraZeneca and we would still have enough vaccine for everybody that wanted it, right? Like that was the thing with pausing Johnson & Johnson, is like if America's in a position where they can literally just pause a third of all vaccines and there's still supply for almost everyone in America to have it, it means that we are able to meet demand relatively well, which is what I'm and what's cool is a lot of these companies like Johnson & Johnson has promised to make like 1 billion vaccines by the end of next year, or something like that. I forget the exact number, but I think it was something ridiculous like that, you know. So, you know, soon, once America gets fully vaccinated, our vaccines are going to, you know, our American vaccine companies are going to start shipping it to friends and neighbors, because no one's protected until we're all protected, you know. And I think it might be a little optimistic to hope that we eradicate it like we did smallpox. But if we can get it to the point where it's like measles or polio, that'd be good, because the average person does not worry about measles or polio as long as there's not enough, as long as, you know, people get their vaccines. It's not something that you'd have to worry about. Have I gotten mine? I have. I've gotten both of mine. I'd show you my card, but I'd be doxing myself. But actually, wherever my wallet is, I actually, the sticker that they give you, or that they gave me, that I had to wait 15 minutes in the waiting room, I have still on my wallet as a 15-minute like timing sticker. I don't know how everybody else is doing it, but I stuck that to my wallet for some reason. I haven't taken it off since. Yeah, you don't necessarily eradicate something like this, but you can keep it down. If every country dealt with COVID the way New Zealand or Vietnam or Taiwan dealt with it, we could have eradicated it. Do I even use my wallet? I do for like my license, I guess. There's some stuff in my wallet that I would need. License and credit card. And that's about it. I hope there isn't the like jacked up cost for friends and neighbors. That would be massively unpopular, you know, because we're talking about global health risk at this point. But maybe I'm being, I didn't read my book first. I'm stupid. Oh well. Now let me just stop. I also kind of hear some grumbling, some zombie grumbles. In America, you don't have to pay for a vaccine. No one does. It's 100% covered by the GOV, the Gov. So here in America, it totally 100% free. You didn't even need proof of anything. I mean, they need your identity, I guess, because they need to know that, like, it's not your, like, 10th vaccine or whatever, but, like, that's all that is required, which is pretty cool. So, insured or uninsured makes no difference vaccine-wise, which was pretty radical here. With that said, there was some cases of people early on, like very, very, very rich people that were masquerading and lying about conditions and stuff like that to get it early. There was that famous couple that was like in Canada. I think they were Canadian, that like pretended to be healthcare workers for like a First Nations tribe and chartered like their own private jet to then pretend to be healthcare workers, get the vaccine, and then leave the country or whatever. It's like, no? Excuse me? It's lighthouse time. This is so dangerous. This is so dumb. I'm like on super speed reading. Oh, and I'm very hungry. There we go. Now I'm very full. I'm spinning around so that no zombies can sneak up on me, but I'm fast forward enough that like I don't know if I'd be able to react in time. Wasn't it also supposed to rain? I'm pretty sure the weather report said rain. Did they lie to me? Yeah, a lot of the globe underestimated it. Really, really, really early on for COVID, governments were weighing economic burdens and strains against healthcare risks. And oh, there we go. Now there's rain. And almost every government got it wrong and decided to allow tourism, allow trade, allow flights, allow, it really makes it, to me, seem like Plague Inc. is so much more real life than I originally gave it credit for. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You would not be incorrect to think, oh, Plague Inc., yeah, that would never happen. People would just close their borders and isolate or whatever. But it's like, nope. Nope. Yeah. Plague Inc., you thought it was a game. It turns out it was a simulation on easy mode. Hey, it could be a lot worse. To be perfectly fair, COVID is no smallpox, which would be hell on earth. So it could have been a lot worse. I'm not saying it's good, but it's nice to have a not unbelievably ridiculously deadly wake-up call. Like, I think the whole globe, and this was pretty well established, that the whole globe was sort of ooh, I got more comfrey. Yes. The whole globe was sort of, what's the right word? They weren't vigilant enough. The thing with hemorrhaging fever, Ebola, or Marburg, which is why it wouldn't be as dangerous, is like, let's take Ebola for instance. And again, I'm not an epidemiologist, but the thing about Ebola is by the time that you're very infectious, you're also very dead. Which means Ebola doesn't spread as easily as a disease like smallpox, because really, really, really high mortality rate diseases tend to kill you so quickly that you can't become a disease vector. So a disease like smallpox was so dangerous because it was so infectious, but you lived long enough to spread it a lot before you died. There is diseases that are super, super, super fatal, but you don't get to spread it very much. So we lucked out that COVID spreads insanely well, like measles. Well, actually, it's not as contagious as measles, but it does spread pretty well. But that it's not as fatal as it could have been. It could have been so much worse. All right, so we have done some lovely foraging. I definitely didn't level up as much as I intend to, and I'm going to spend the rest of the stream, what little of it remains, foraging. But we did get up to 130 points of additional foraging. And I think the real kicker, and time will tell, time will determine this, as well as like science. But I think another huge factor of COVID's success was the fact that it had such a significant rate of asymptomatic carriers. That there honestly was just like a lot of people that there was a lot of people that had COVID and didn't know, and was able to spread it without knowing. Oh no, my tomatoes! It must have been diseased, and I had no idea. Oh well. So that was another big kicker of COVID, was that you know, it was able to spread around under the radar, and its incubation period was long enough that you could have it, not know it, spread it, and not show it. Either way, I do hope that the world learned a lesson, and it's not to be repeated. But it is, what I will say is, it's not sexy to spend on, you know, preventative care. It's smart, but not sexy, you know, in terms of bills and investments. It is true that an ounce of prevention is a pound of cure, but it doesn't make for, like, attractive spending. Rotten food reminder? So, what is rotted? The live fish bait and the mayonnaise. Let's take that out. And, I'm just gonna throw it away. I'm too lazy to go to the bin. Alright, let's create a soup. Feed myself. Live fish bait and mayonnaise salad. Ugh. No thanks. That sounds gross. That sounds real gross. What do I do with Rose hips? Tea? Maybe? I guess I could look that up. But let me go get my comfrey. You can use it for tea? Okay. I thought so. But I have enough comfrey to make 2 batches. What is the percentage that were asymptomatic? I don't think we know definitively yet. I think there's been cases where, like I remember reading a case of, I think it was an Italian town. Oh, no, don't eat that. Oh, darn it. An Italian town that tested everybody in a small town early on, because, of course, Italy was hit real hard early on. And the Italian town found that something like 40-ish%, and this, of course, was a way too small of a population for a true case study, but they found something like 40% to 50%. And I think that those are the numbers that I've been reading, and I don't know if they've been updated. Again, I am not a doctor, which I can't say enough, but I've been reading that it's theorized that it's something like 50% of all people were asymptomatic carriers, which is mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling that it'd be that high. That is, I think, understandably significantly high. That you could have it and just totally not know it. And then there's other things like getting good sunlight, getting your vitamin D helps to really limit the amount of severe symptoms that you can get. So use sunscreen, but getting sun is helpful. So that's been another kicker that scientists, I think, learned out, is that one of the ways to really limit the amount of severe symptoms, it doesn't stop you from getting it, of course, but it helps to reduce the severity of symptoms in some people, not all, but that's been something interesting found out as well. You think in Iceland they did the same thing and they found it was about 40 to 50%? It's mind-boggling that, like, for some people, and then of course there's the really, really scary, which is not understood at all yet, long COVID, which is where people just have symptoms that never really seem to go away, which makes sense if it does a lot of scar tissue to your lungs and heart damage. That you would have ongoing symptoms of being sick because your organs your organs took so much damage from it. Very happy to have been able to be isolated with my work. But I want you all to be safe. And don't just take my word for it. Go to CDC, go to your own country's official health resources. Don't get your like health advice from like Facebook or other social media. Go to the source directly, because there's a lot of garbage information out there. Whether if you it's fun to listen to people like Joe Rogan or even people like me. I'm even calling myself out. Don't listen to me, like, go to the professionals. I'm just saying what I know because I read a lot about it and I watch a lot of news, and I watch news that I would think is, the interviews that I watch is like Faust, it's pretty official, and CDC guidelines and stuff like that, but again, what is applicable for Americans might not be applicable for all. Because our guidelines are different than other countries that can easily be more lax. Like if you lived in New Zealand, you're not going to have the same guidelines that you have here in America. What is my weight? That's a good question. It's 84 and dropping. I've been putting on some pounds so I'm healthy so that I can recover more quickly. But I did gain weight as a result. So I'm a beefy boy. Let me do one last backup. Actually, you know what? It's about time. It's about that time. So let me do a quick recap. I won't even back up my save. And this episode, what did we do? We didn't get a ton done, but we did do some skill building. So we managed to level up a little bit in farming and cooking. In electrical, we got a level in some change. We did a little bit of mechanics, but not nearly as much as I meant to do because we did lose the tools, the jack and the lug wrench that I had to go then recover from the mall because I left it there. We leveled up tailoring and managed to get a nice amount of additional clothing ready. We are still on the path of recovery. My pain is only minor, but we still do have the fracture. What else? We barricaded a few of the doors. We had zombies wander in on our base, which was pretty scary. Thank you for tuning in to Project Zomboid, which originally aired live on Twitch. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, my countdown timer and schedule can be found at Rhadamant.com. A link to that can be found in the description. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, everybody.